So imagine this. You're a couple weeks into a job. It's a big job. A lot of expenses up front. It's you're putting in all new windows. You've demoed a house. You've put on a new roof. You've removed a deck. You're putting on a new deck. And the last step in this initial draw phase is to get the exterior of a house painted. Now, here I am. I'm on site, and the guys that are building the deck can overhear this conversation. I'm a little frustrated. I thought I had a painter lined up, and the painter's letting me know, Mike, we're too busy. This other job, something's come up. We're going to be here like another 10 days. I cannot get to your job for at least maybe 2 weeks is what he's telling me. And I needed him to start like 2 days ago. Okay. So here they are. The deck guys are working away building the deck. And the one guy, the helper, I didn't know who he was. He came up and said, "Oh, you looking for a painter?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "You know anybody?" He goes, "I happen to be a painter." I go, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Well, this is my brother that you've hired to do the deck here, but I'm a painter by trade." Now, what was interesting is I'm sitting there going, well, why is he building decks if he's a painter? But I was desperate. So I waived some of my initial apprehensiveness. All right. So here I am. I'm excited. I think I've found a perfect solution to my problem. By pure luck, I found another painting subcontractor, right? He's the brother of a really good deck subcontractor. Now, his brother warned me, of course. He said, look, my brother, the painter, Mike, he doesn't have his own contractor's license. I said, yeah, but he's just painting. He doesn't need that in this situation. He goes, look, my brother drinks a lot. He's got some addiction issues. It's hard for me to even get him to show up every day when I need him. I was like, yeah, that's common in the industry, right? He goes, look, he's got a strong personality. He can be confrontational. I was like, yeah, but you know what? Who is it these days? Everybody's angry, frustrated about something. And, I'm like, I can handle all this. And besides, I was in a pinch, right? I needed this exterior paint job done pronto. I needed to hit that next milestone. Look, I had like $20-some thousand tied up on that draw, and I was ready for that cash. So here I go. I signed some flimsy agreement, right? Hardly any details. It's barely a paragraph. Joe's going to paint the exterior, the stucco of the house. He's going to paint the fascia, the soffit, going to do the window and door trims, 2 coats. We wrote the colors down on the back. He's going to use the Duron exterior grade paint, such and such. Cost was going to be like $4,500. I'm going to give him 2 checks. One is for $500 written out to Duron, so he can go and get the paint right away. And the second check was like $1,250 to lock him and his crew in so that they'd get started. Now, this is Thursday, and he's promising me he's going to have it done by Monday. He's like, no problem, my guys. We're hungry. We'll work over the weekend. You got it, Mike, he says. And I was like, good. The weather's going to be clear. I said, it might be a little chilly, but no big deal. Man, I was thrilled. So here I am. I think I've hit the jackpot. So I go back to lining up the other things we're doing, moving on, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Problem solved. All right. Next day, Friday, I show up to the job. We're getting together. Well, the deck guys are here, but the brother's missing. That's interesting. He's getting all the paint together. Of course. He'll be here later. So, 7:30, 9:30, 11:30, nothing. So I give Joe a call. Hey, how are things? He goes, listen, man, we had an emergency. One of my guys on a different job needed some help. I'm not going to be able, the guys can't make it today. But don't worry, tomorrow, all right? No problem. Got extra guys going to be there tomorrow. So, not so happy, but I get it. Stuff happens. So I'm back to work. All right. Saturday morning comes, and I decide we're going to roll over to the job, get a few more things done. We got to get set up. We got sheetrock working on. I'm getting ready. We're going to be setting some cabinets. All right. So it's like mid-morning. Nothing, no painter. I'm like, this is strange. This guy should have been here first thing, crack of dawn. He's, sometimes they wait for the dew to settle, whatever. So I give Joe a call, and he says, listen, man, you wouldn't believe it. The van broke down. Don't worry. We're going to be there. I got 2 guys going to come get me off of another job. We're going to be there. Now, I couldn't stay that long that day, so I was like, all right, perfect. I'm starting to get a little worried, but he's like, don't worry, Mike, we got it. We're going to take care of you. We do this all the time. We're professionals. All right. So Sunday comes and I can't make it to the job. I've got some family stuff I've committed to. I've got other things going on, right? You got to have one day off. All right. I give Joe a call. It's about 9. And I was like, hey, brother, how are things? Can you send me a picture? What's going on? He's like, yeah, we're everything's coming along. But listen, he's like, I'll send you the picture in a little while. I'm up on the ladder, right? All right. I never do get that picture. I get busy and I just move on to other things. So I'm excited. He says he's at the site. He says he's got everything under control. So tells me he's going to be all wrapped up that day. No need for me to check on him. And I'm thinking, awesome. This guy is saving my bacon. You know what I mean? All right. Monday morning. I wake up. I'm excited. This is a good day. I got all that first draw schedule is complete. I'm ready to get that check. I got the person from the bank lined up. They're going to be coming out mid-morning. And boom, we're good to go. So I get to the job site a little bit early. And as I'm pulling up, something looks funny. A couple things look funny, actually. We had a brand new roof put on this house, and it was beautiful. Black asphalt shingles, they looked really good. And something's not right. They're not that black today. It's like they look like they got like white dust, tan dust all over them. I don't know what's happened, right? And I was like, maybe it's just shadow. I don't know. And as I get closer, I could start seeing the brand new white vinyl replacement windows that we put in throughout the whole house. And I was like, that's funny. They're all frosted looking, right? I guess the guys just didn't have time to take the plastic and paper off, right? I'm sure they sprayed a lot of the stuff and they wanted to just be careful. So they protected the windows. And that's why everything looks that way. Well, I'm going to tell you what, that's not what it was. Because as I got closer to the house, man, I went from thinking, boy, do those colors pop from a distance to going, what has happened here? This is a disaster. So here was the deal, right? It was an absolute nightmare. This guy, I can't even say he had guys. They got paint everywhere except where they should have, right? I mean, we had paint overspray. It was on the roof. There was paint overspray on the windows. There was paint overspray on the deck. The bushes, right? Paint was everywhere. And there was nothing. So interesting thing, the paint color was timely tan. And I'm going to tell you, there was nothing timely about this paint job. They didn't mask anything. They didn't tape off any of the windows. They just sprayed like amateurs, like animals. And, man, later on I find out that, Joe's addictions, they're real. Apparently he showed up drunk or high to the site when he started doing all this. It was a mess. I learned a brutal lesson there, right? Some people, they just can't help themselves, especially some when they're struggling with some addictions, right? They can talk a big game and they can say all the right things and they can still screw you over because they know how to fake it until they can't. And I was rushed. I was starting to feel a little desperate and I ignored red flags. And that disaster cost me thousands to fix, right? And it delayed my draw. But from then on, I swore, no more shortcuts. No more falling for the BS. I'm smarter than this, or at least I hope I am in the future. Every subcontractor is going through the same process, right? I'm going to have an application that I'm going to stick to. There's going to be the vetting process I'm going to stick to. There's going to be an actual contract that I'm going to follow through with. And if anyone complains about the process or wanting to start right away and how I'm slowing up the job, I say perfect. The sooner you get through this application process and provide all the license, insurance, and references, the sooner you get to work and the sooner we both make money. I'm not the one slowing up anything. This is the process. You need to knock it out if you want to be a sub here. You're holding yourself up, basically, not me. Right? This system weeds out the jokers. Only legitimate professional companies will complete the process when you have a good application process set up. It's never failed me. I've only failed myself when I chose to skip, right? Here I have some parameters. I've set up a process, and it's when I decide not to do it that I get myself into hot water.
Hello, this is the HackHour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hard-working remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Menges.
I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the HackHour Podcast, sponsored by the Remodeling Academy. I'm Mike Menges. For those of you new, I'm a longtime remodeler, founder of both the Remodeling Academy and this HackHour Podcast. Right? Think of it as your guide to hammering out cash and building a business, that pays you what you're worth. So today's episode is 56, and we are diving into the Subcontractor Success Blueprint, right? Basically, it's how to avoid nightmares and boost profits. So, if you're tired of the subcontractor drama, if you've got missed deadlines or you've lost money on bad hires, then this episode is definitely for you. I'm going to break down a simple system to find, to hire, and then lead your subcontractors like a professional. And, stick around. There might be a few leadership tips here and there that'll help make your crew respect you a little more. I mean, none of that hurts at the end of the day. So let's get to it. Here's a 5-step system that I find helps me avoid nightmares like the one I described in the beginning. So in the first step, you want to have an awesome welcome letter. Some people call it the killer welcome letter. Here's the deal. You start with a letter that you're going to provide to all the subcontractors you want to invite to your team. You want to invite them to bid on your jobs. You want to invite them to work with you and your clients. And it's like sending out a nice party invitation to the best players. You say who you are. You say why your company is great. You then explain to them what they get, like cool projects to work on. Maybe it's timely payments. Maybe it's organized job sites, clear scopes of work, right? You make it clear that you only are looking to work with professionals and people that respect the trades. A great sales letter like this, what I call it, or a great letter in general, it sets the tone for a solid relationship. And you can get a copy of that from us at our website. And it at the term, right, people say it's a game changer. It makes a difference. All right. Step 2 in our process is you use an application form. You require people to fill something out, and it shows you what they are and what they're about. So for us, it's very simple, right? You need to know if these guys are the real deal. And an application form, it asks for all the basics. Their name, their company name, their address, what they specialize in, their insurance information, license information if they have those things, right? You ask for a project or two for a reference so you can drive by. You ask for a client or two so that you can follow up and do a reference. You'll ask for a couple photos, right? Before and afters. And this form is your checklist to ensure that you're working with a professional and not someone who just started their business yesterday. And someone who can actually do what they say they do. Not like the guy I got who painted the roof when he was supposed to paint the stucco. All right? It saves you from the costly mistakes. Now, step 3, this requires a little bit of effort on you. You got to be a detective, and you have to follow through with a review process. So when you get their application, you or someone on your staff or team actually follows up and investigates, right? Call the references. Make sure it lines up. What is it that the reference says the sub did for them? Is it match what the sub said he did for the homeowner? All right. Do the addresses match up? If they're giving you addresses, do you drive by and actually see that, yeah, that siding still looks good that they did 3 weeks ago, or half of it blew off in the last storm? Like, what's the reality of the situation? You have to check that their insurance or license information is proper and that they're not using someone else's. For those of you that are GCs, you want to get yourself named on a lot of your subs insurance policies. There's a whole process for setting up, not a big deal. And you also want to make sure that you're going to meet somebody from this sub company in person and get a sense for who they are, what they're about. All right. Don't just take everything for granted over the phone if you were referred to them or they were referred to you. And during calls and when you're meeting in person, you're looking for cues like what's their frame of mind? Are they able to stay focused? Do they have, like, are they on something where they can't stay focused, right? Do they have an alcohol, drug addiction? I don't know. Check. Are they on medications, right? How alert are they? How cognizant are they? Are they polite? Do they listen? Do they care about quality, right? It's like looking for a teammate, somebody that's going to represent your company. You want someone who's reliable, not just a flashy guy that says, we'll take care of it. We'll get it all done for you, right? Everybody knows what to say. You got to look at how they're saying it. This step does keep the troublemakers out and helps you find the ones that are good. It's the simple stuff. It really is, that nobody feels like they have time to do. So step 4, you want to lock everything in with a nice agreement, right? And this is the promise that says that, what the sub is going to do and what you're going to do. It's the when, it's the how, and it's the details. Like, how much are they going to get paid? When do they get paid? What are they being paid for? Where are they doing what they're getting paid for, right? You and them are very clear on all the details, a detailed scope of work that explains everything so that there's no misunderstanding. A lot of subs, when they would visit me on job sites, I noticed some guys don't take any notes. And I'm like, how are you going to remember all this? Either you have no other work, you have some sort of amazing memory, but most of the time it's because they think they know. Like, yeah, I've done this before. All right. Well, I want the details. And if they're not going to write it down, I'm writing it down and I'm putting it in the contract. So make sure you have something solid. Keeps everyone on track. And I find that, hey, you do what you said you're going to do. We do what we say we're going to do. We pay timely when you get the work done timely. Right? Very simple. Again, you can get a copy of ours at our website. All right. So the fifth step here is you got to stick to the plan. All right. That's how things work. Do the basics. No matter what, no matter how rushed you feel, no matter what comes up, like all of a sudden the sub goes out of business, you need a new one and you want to skip steps. And you're like, maybe you shouldn't fill out the application. And he's like, Mike, I'm too busy. I don't have time to fill that application out. We can just get started tomorrow. And you're like, man, you really want them to start tomorrow. But you know what you really need? I need the application first. As soon as you get the application, then you can get started. So how bad do you want to get started working for us? You'll show me by how bad and how quickly you get that application over to us. All right. These are the keys, right? When you skip steps, you're just setting yourself up. It's like wearing a helmet, right? Yeah. Do you always need it? No, but when you do, you do. If you didn't take time to put it on, you'll pay for the price. So just do it up front, right? When you skip getting references and skip checking on the references, I've found that it burns you. So make sure you follow up. There's a lot of siding subs that are not nailing their siding into the studs on sides of houses, right? Especially new home construction. You see these guys, they just think nailing it into the plywood is adequate. And then the first time in the area, a big storm comes, 2-3 square blows right off the side of the house. Like, is that who you want doing your work? Also, if it's a siding sub, you can go out and check, all the different sides of the house. And sometimes you can tell that they're nailing it too tight, right? All of a sudden, all the siding's buckling. You want to look for things like that if it's a professional. Like if it's my company and I'm going to be standing behind the siding job for the next 15 years, I want to make sure it looks good and it was done right up front the first time. And that's how you do it. You verify things. This is how you build a business that runs smooth and, keeps you going to the bank consistently to deposit and get cash. All right. So let's talk about some of the art and science of picking subcontractors, right? The art of it is you got to find people with good character, in my opinion. All right. I look for people that are honest, they're hardworking, and they play fair, right? I listen to how they talk. I find people that are respectful are the best. I watch what they do and how they show up. all the time. Like, the little things that people do lead to the big things. So you have to learn to trust what you see, right? And if something feels off, it probably is. Because a lot of these guys are experts at telling you what you want to hear. And many of these too good to be true promises are in fact that. And it takes some time for some of you to spot these red flags, right? I know it has for me. Some guys are really good. Sometimes, you get taken because you got a motivation to do something quick, right? So don't fall for the cheap price. That's a red flag right away. You get what you pay for, and quality's going to beat the bargain every time. You guys know these things. Now, the science really is checking their skills, actually going and looking at other jobs that they've done, talk to other GCs that they've worked for, actually talk to the homeowner, say, what was that siding sub like? What was the roofers like? How were the window guys? The homeowners often are going to know. All right. And you can overlook things about what they say about money, or you want to just see did they complain about the way the guys handled the site and took care of the house? Or do they go, no, these guys are great. Hardly even knew they were here. They showed up, they did their job, and they were gone. Like, that's what you're looking for, right? So you also need to verify things like insurance and license information. I don't probably need to share that. Like, you got to go on your state or county website and make sure the stuff's legit. You got to call the insurance company and make sure that the policy that they're sharing with you is a legit active policy. And it's for the amounts that they're telling you it's for. And that they're covered for the things that they say they're covered for. So, anyway, this process, yes, it takes a little bit of time. And yes, when you're in a hurry, it may cause a delay of a week initially. But for the next several years, it will more than pay for itself and reward you that you took the time to find the proper person up front. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about some leadership, right? So remember, subcontractors, they aren't just workers. They're part of your team. If you treat them right, they're going to make you look more like a rock star every day of the week. So here's some of my suggestions. This is what's worked for me, right? If I keep my promises to my subs, I pay them on time. We start jobs and have jobs ready for them when we say we will, okay? And we're honest with them. Hey, Joe, I said we were going to be ready for siding next Wednesday. We've had this come up, that came up. It's not going to be till Friday now. Please forgive me. Or hey, we're going to be done early. You know, if you'd like to get started early, you can. But Wednesday, we're all ready for you. Just communicate with your guys and let them know, right? Trust makes all players of the team work harder, and they'll stick with you longer. Be fair. Even when it's tough. This one, I've learned this one the hard way. Sometimes my expectation, if I only could perform up to my own level of expectation sometimes, because I make mistakes and I need to have grace and be fair because things happen. So if a subcontractor's work isn't up to par on a particular part of the project, just have an honest conversation, be kind. Inquire about it. Say, hey, I noticed this, and it turned out this way. In my experience, I was expecting it to look like this. Can you tell me what happened here? What's going on? And if you find out, if something's messed up, maybe you can offer to work with them. Hey, how can I help you so that we can solve this? And how do we keep it from happening in the future? Right? Just be fair, not harsh. And having a little bit of grace goes a long way. Now, sure, you have to know to throttle that. And if something happens over and over again, well, then now you handle that differently. But when the first time, just be a little inquisitive and ask some questions. Also, own your own mistakes. Man, if you mess up, it's and maybe you gave bad directions, don't say you're sorry. Say, please forgive me. I wasn't clear. Yes, you're right. I got confused. I made a mistake, right? How can I help fix it now? And it shows that you care more about them than yourself, right? And this is a leadership hack that, stop using the word sorry. ask the person to forgive you, own it, recognize what you did or didn't do, right? Like, hey, please forgive me. You're right. I said the materials would be there at 10 a.m. and they weren't. We didn't get them done like we said. That's our mistake. So how can I help compensate you for that, right? Let's get it right. Be kind, with your subs, even when they mess up, right? If they use the wrong thing or they got something confused, just figure out what happened. See where the communication broke down, who wasn't clear, what led to the confusion, how can you eliminate that confusion in the future, and then work together to get it straight. And most of the time, everyone's going to make a mistake. All right, things happen. And if it's just a very occasional mistake and you could see completely how it happened, just let the guys know, perfect, no worries. Like, we're going to move through this and go on to the next job. And function well by communicating like a superstar, right? Do the best you can at all times to be clear and detailed, right? Instead of like generics, like, you're just going out there to build a deck. It's more like, well, listen, this is going to be a 12-foot wooden frame deck, It's going to have this and that, and we're looking for it to be this shape and this far off the ground. Give the guys details. We're looking to have you start on Friday, right? And this is why. And yeah, I know you normally like to build it 16, but on this one, we want 12-inch on center. And here's why. The homeowner wants this instead of that. And here's why. Help them understand it, right? Hey, this client, it's real important to them that the stairs land this way. And here's why. So help us out. I know you like to do it the other way, but you'd be really contributing to the overall happiness of everyone if you could help us do it this way this time. Just explain the situation, be clear. And again, if something goes wrong, just ask how that happened. Was there something I didn't explain properly? Try to own the mistake first, and then sometimes they'll explain to you that it really wasn't your fault, that it was their fault. And that's fine. We just want to know how we're going to get fixed, right? So anyway, why does all this matter? Because look, at the end of the day, great subs are like good best friends. You guys can be working together for years together when you find the right person. And the more that you can trust them and they trust you, the better it's going to be for all parties. Several of our subs end up helping us find a lot of our projects, right? Because a lot of our subs, they don't want to sell the job. They just want to come do the job. And they get asked all the time if they could do some this for the homeowner, or a lot of times our subs get approached on the job and I may not be there. Our lead carpenter might not be there. Or maybe the carpenter's inside, but the guy doing the roof's outside and the homeowner's talking to them while they're having lunch. And when you have a good sub, they give out your card and they work with you and they say, no, you need to contact so-and-so. Yep, we work for so-and-so, right? And they could be out at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever, Menards, getting the materials, and somebody approaches them and they're like, no, you should call so-and-so. They're great, right? Like, some of your best subs will do those types of things for you, and it just keeps everyone working well together. So this is the ways that I've found to help keep bad relationships and nightmares from happening, like my painted windows from earlier in the story. So, these are ways to help keep you out of court, help keep you from having disputes with homeowners and all the things. So a quick tip before we go, you got emotional intelligence, and that is something that I found has been like a superpower for picking and leading subcontractors, right? You learn to notice how people are acting. You can pick up on what's going on. You can look and ascertain rather quickly whether someone's being honest or whether they're being less than honest, maybe a little sketchy. And you can learn to really listen to what and how people are saying, and this will help you choose the right people and build trust over time. And if you are demonstrating what you're looking for, you'll find it much easier. So if you're trying to always take advantage of people, then you're probably going to be attracted to people that like to take advantage of people. But if you're looking to be fair and honest, most likely you will be attracted to other subs that are also looking to do the same thing. So, look, at the end of the day, it's your time to take charge. This is going to be a great year. And for those of you looking to avoid nightmares in the remodeling projects, I invite you to take a peek at our 5-day remodeler challenge. Go to getpaidestimate.com and you can see step by step how you can start getting money for things that you were doing for free, right? Price these jobs for profit and grow the business that pays you what you're worth. Don't just build, bank some money. All right. So anyhow, that's a wrap for episode 56 of the HackHour Podcast. If you got some value, please subscribe to our channels, turn on the notifications, drop a comment for us, tell us what you like, what you're looking for in the next episode coming up. Maybe a horror story, something that you've learned, a lesson you've learned, any of that. So appreciate if you'd follow us at the Remodeling Academy here on YouTube and the HackHour Podcast. If you need any other assistance, always reach out. And until next time, remember, look, your success, it's ready for you. The question is, are you ready for it? So keep hammering some cash out there and build the dream business. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the HackHour Podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.